Great thing is, this is your weapon. This is your powerful tool. This is either your enemy or your ally. How you actually utilize this and the words you choose to write down on that paper is what you'll manifest, which is why whether you think you can, whether you think you can't, you're both usually right. What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're all doing very well. Here with another episode. I'm going to be talking about some really important things that I learned over my 20s in hope that it's going to provide you guys and girls some value along in your journey, your entrepreneurship, all the goals that you aim to accomplish. It's currently about 5 p.m. here in the UK. I'm kind of winding down. This is my kind of zen space in the poorhouse, if you like. Whenever I've got a busy schedule and I've ticked off a lot of goals, I always come here to kind of relax, wind down, do a bit of goal setting, plan for the next day, etc., and just kind of go through the same process. But yeah, it's been an interesting one. You know, a lot of momentum, big goals for 2022, and I thought I would really share some words of wisdom that I feel that will benefit you massively, that I wish I took more seriously in my 20s, because I believe it would have sped up my entrepreneurship journey to achieve more success a lot faster and a more efficient manner. So if this can help you, fantastic, and I hope you take a lot of value away from this episode. So let's start off with point number one, resourcefulness. I wish I was more resourceful in my 20s. And the reason why this is important is because it's a mentality shift. When you can learn to become, resourceful with whatever you've got, you become more of a savage to achieve your goals. So what I mean by that, you'll see people that have got no equipment for fitness, for example. They haven't got a gym, they haven't got access to it. Even in their country, they can't have access to it. What will they do? They'll make a dumbbell out of, water bottles and fill them up and tie something together, because they just make do with what they've got. And I've learned from lots of successful people is that they're not wishing for more resources, which is what most people do. You'll run out of resources, and once you run out, you'll blame and you'll think that the world's against you. So developing this mentality of being resourceful with what you've got, it will serve you much more. For example, for myself, I'm a big fan of journaling, writing things down. In my earliest stages of personal development, of growth, of reading, even then, I didn't have access to too much capital to be able to just buy books constantly. It was literally that tight at one point. However, what I did do is I was resourceful with it. So this is when I developed the habit of not just reading the book once and on to the next, which is what a lot of people do. They kind of tick box in all of these book goals, never really absorbing the knowledge from one and actually having the time to apply it. And then there's contradictions in place. So for example, you read a book from one author, they say one thing. You read a book from another author in the same sort of industry, as everybody has different opinions. No right or wrong, just different methods and how they do things. Then there'll be another one. It's like, which one do I follow? And then what happens is we want that dopamine hit of, I've ticked off something, I feel like I'm progressing. However, if you were more resourceful with what you've got, like what I've done with books, you would actually apply it. So what I used to do is I'd read the book, reread the chapter, reread it, and I'd think, well, let me squeeze what I can out of what I've got and be more resourceful with a resource that I have right in front of me versus this mentality of always searching for more. And it comes from a lack of mindset. You have this scarcity mindset that you always think that you need something else. Whether you was abundant, it's like, right, I have everything that I need right now. Let me get the best out of that. I wish I knew more of that. I did do it, but I think I would have got further if I valued that a little bit more. So for those of you that are in your 20s right now, you've got big ambitions, take a big hard look at your life and ask yourself, with the resources that you have right now, how resourceful have you actually been? Then you'll get your answer. So this next point I think is going to help you out a lot, which is learning how to fail. Really learning how to fail. Most of us are wired in a way that we have to avoid pain. Nobody likes conflict and pain. We tend to avoid that, which is why we look for shortcuts, how to do things easier, is why our minds are gravitating towards hacks, right? It's why we think that there's a shortcut, an easier route. That is how we're wired. However, when you can learn how to fail more effectively and you avoid going down that route, you will grow so much quicker. So I knew, and I used to kind of have this inner dialogue and talk with myself in the earlier years when things were very difficult. I knew it would serve some sort of purpose. So when I was going through any kind of struggle or friction, I'd always tell myself, this is part of the process. I know the dots will connect later down the line. And I think at the time I was doing that because it was kind of a coping mechanism that things will get better, this will pass, I will get better at this, and I will always improve. And if I stick at this for long enough, did I fully believe it right then? Maybe to some degree, but not fully. I don't think you can always be 100% because you've not made it yet. However, sometimes you have to have a bit of blind faith and belief in yourself to do that. But learning how to fail is a difficult thing. Most people, when they fail, they just get straight back up as the exact same person that they are, and then they repeat the loop, repeat the mistake. How we see failure and our perception of that will determine our success. So if you see it in a different way, that this is just another reason for you to figure out that, right, this didn't work, let's get some feedback from this. So I've never seen it that way. I used to just see it as, and these were at times in early my trading career where I would build up capital, I would do well for a period of time, and I'd almost lose all of that, then go into drawdown, and then build myself back up again and repeat the loop and repeat the loop. So even then, I used to go through that process, but I never really understood the real value and power of it. I never intentionally looked at it so much. I was so obsessed with, I've lost, I need to get back, versus, hold on a minute, let's actually assess, why did I lose? What happened? What could I do differently? Is there something I can learn from? How can I mitigate against something happening again? But I didn't do that. And it was only when I did start to do that, and it took me quite a lot of years because I was very stubborn, I then started to grow and things started to become more successful. And I noticed that people in life, doesn't matter what industry they're trying to pursue to be the best at or succeed, they know how to fail. They know how to love how to fail and absorb that. They almost encourage it and they move forward with it because it's sometimes the quickest way for you to figure out this is what you need to fix. Where if you're afraid and you're fearful and you're almost trying to build yourself up to get to a point in which that you avoid failure and you avoid pain, avoiding failure is like avoiding success because you're avoiding the necessary ingredient that you need to get to the next stage of where you need to get to. So when you start to see it from a different perspective and a different perception, you'll win more. So anyone out there, you're in your 20s, you've got big ambitions, big goals, you want to achieve some really high level stuff, learn how to fall in love with the process of failing in the right way and then utilizing how you done that to then get back up stronger, sharper, more efficient, more effective, wiser, so then you can actually get to the next level wherever you're going. Now we're on to the last point. This is the big one. This is actually why that I'm here. So visualization, but I don't just mean your conventional visualization, you just sit there and think about it and visualize it. I mean really get down to the details, be really specific. So what I used to do, and I still do to this day, is the same formula, same process that I wish I'd done a little bit more because I didn't really understand how valuable it was until the dots connected down the line. So I'm sharing this with you so you don't have to make that mistake. So what I mean by that is I'm a big advocate of journaling constantly, right? Every single day, looking at my goals. And I'll have different journals for different goals. This is my daily journal, and then I'll have a bigger journal for my longer term goals. And what I would do is I would visualize things that are coming to me. I'd visualize the life that I aim to live. And I would be in my old parents' house, humble beginnings, you know, living the life, being resourceful with what I'd got. I was very happy with what I had. I was very grateful for the position that I was in because I understood that people had it a lot worse. And that gave me the coping mechanism to realize, well, would it have been nice to be born into some wealth? Would it have been easier? Possibly. But even then, people still have mental challenges. Money doesn't fix everything. And I started realizing, do you know what, let me just utilize these visualizations to just feel better in the moment. You know, I think that's what it was for. However, not realizing at the time, your subconscious brain doesn't understand the difference, right? Which is why they've done studies on, you see when people are playing basketball and they measure the brain activity, and then you see them visualize playing basketball and then they measure that brain activity and it's almost identical, right? Because the subconscious brain doesn't know the difference. And then once it has that program input, it starts to then subconsciously move towards validating that to be true, which is why it's so powerful to wire your mind up to success, which is why these success habits are important, but visualization. And as I sit here, in my pool house, overlooking my pool, this is exactly what I visualized. I visualized this mansion, water fountain, having a tennis court, basketball court, pool house, you name it, my own gym, building my parents a dream home, having lots of land, a gated drive in a really nice area. I knew the area that I wanted to live, you know, because I used to walk past it, drive past it, see it, visualize it, get all the senses involved. And I didn't realize at the time, but being ultra specific as exactly what I want, right down to where it is, what the postcode is, what does it look like, how's it going to make me feel, how do I feel, how do I see myself in there, and just so many senses and emotions were involved to the point that when I achieved this goal and I built my parents' dream house, you've seen that series on this channel, that was manifested years ago when I had nothing. But I was able to see past that because you really truly have to see it in your mind before it happens. You have to become the person before you are the person. You can't wait. Waiting to become the person is a little bit like waiting to get ripped before you start eating healthy. then you would understand, all right, that doesn't really work. I have to eat healthy before I get shredded. You know, I can't just exercise. There's an ingredient that's important there, which is the same thing in your mind. So see that as a necessary ingredient for you to move forward. Your visualizations have to be so intense, guys, to the point that you almost feel like you already have it. As if you was to close your eyes, it's right there. You literally can see it right there. I talk about this in my book in The Side Effect so many times as to how to manifest that. That's a blueprint right there, bringing it closer to your mind, because the closer that you think it is on a subconscious level, the more chances you believe that you can actually do it, which means that you take actions towards making it happen. And I wish I valued that more. I just didn't know what was happening at the time. Me going through such excruciating details, like the smallest things, what it's going to smell like. I even would visualize things like waking up in the morning at 5 a.m. and what it would feel like on a frosty morning in the winter, having my cup of coffee, just looking out from my office or walking over to my pool area and just kind of seeing everything and taking it in. Like that small details when I had nothing. So what you have to understand is, if you can get crystal clear, so for any of you, you're in your 20s right now, you really want to hit some high level goals over the next decade, get clear on what you want. Get clear on what that vision looks like, connect it to your why, right? Your purpose, your mission, what you feel powerful about and clear about, and then get down to the granular details as to all areas of life design. How would you like to design your life? What would that ideal look like? Because remember this, you will never exceed your wildest expectations. So if your wildest expectations is to have $1 million, you'll never exceed it because you put it on a pedestal. You have to think bigger, dream bigger. And the interesting thing about dreaming bigger, the further you dream, the bigger you go, the more likely you will achieve the original goal in the first place. So you have to set goals further than yourself. But if your senses are not involved, if you're not really taking the time to visualize that, get present with it, feel the emotion and visualize yourself in that situation. Get so present with it as if you've already achieved that. I promise you that will push you closer towards your goals more than anything else. That is the one, if you're searching for a real hack, that's the hack. Because the mind doesn't know the difference. You either have negative programming or positive programming. Great thing is, this is your weapon. This is your powerful tool. This is either your enemy or your ally. How you actually utilize this and the words you choose to write down on that paper is what you'll manifest, which is why whether you think you can, whether you think you can't, you're both usually right. Hopefully you understand the wisdom in that. So this is what I wanted to share with you in your 20s, those of you that are really serious about your goals. What a life we have to waste it, to not think big enough, dare to think big enough, dream big enough, and set your wildest goals. Why not? You're gonna be 90 years old, 80 years old, regretting what if, when you have the power to do it right now, especially in the age that we're in, the resources that you have access to right now, guys. Be patient with it, but get clear first. The clearer you are, the easier it is to navigate through the hurdles that are going to arise, and trust in the process that you will become the person to be able to deal with those situations and overcome them. That is the mindset. It's not about wishing things were easier. It's about, can you trust yourself to be moving towards becoming the person that can cope with all of these situations? No matter how tough life gets, you can accomplish it. I've been working years to train my mind to do that, and I will continue to level up and do so, which is why I really enjoy knowledge transferring that to you guys, hoping that assists you in your journey. So let me know if that's helped you and you resonate with it, and I'm going to be sharing more of this type of content that's helped you. So guys, thank you so much for tuning into the episode. You're going to be seeing a lot more of me on this channel. I have a lot in store for 2022, and I'm excited to keep sharing. Enjoy the rest of your day. Take these words, apply them into your life. You'll thank me later.